Did you already file your taxes?
No.
Okay.
Compiling all the paperwork.
Compiling all the paperwork. Welcome back. I'm Maria Garcia. I'm an engineering ambassador and I'm studying mechanical engineering. Today we have a special guest.
I'm Dr. Nick Ginga in mechanical and aerospace engineering. I am a new professor in the department, and I'm focusing in on classes related to materials and manufacturing and mechanics of materials. And also, I'm teaching right now MA 211, which is the CAD introductory course, and also I've taught MA 378, which is a manufacturing materials course, and also senior design, which is a 2-semester course, and it deals with trying to design a one-seat race car, electric race car for a FSE competition, electric vehicle.
Sounds good. Thanks. So you mentioned your classes. Is there a favorite class that you like to teach?
I like, not really a favorite, I like teaching them all. That's the nice thing about classes. It's the variability of it, right? They each kind of a different topic, and each one has things I really look forward to. Like in MA 211, that's typically a first or second year course. So it's fun having students who are, relatively new and who are really just starting out in engineering. And there's a semester project, an individual project that they work on. So it's interesting to get this, to know the students early on and see what their interests are, and then potentially try to work with those students to throughout their undergrad career. And 378 is also really interesting, I think, because I think it's a good course to combine and connect dots while they're learning things. It kind of goes well with mechanics and materials. But here now they're focusing on how the materials behave and kind of getting the application of those materials. So I think it's a real good supplement to that course and allows them to learn more or kind of get more in depth on those topics and get a better appreciation on how things are used in the field. Then senior design I really like as well because it's just a fun topic of electric vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of students are really into cars, so it's another topic that students get excited about and work on, and we get to see the whole process of design and then also manufacturing and testing. So there's a lot of really interesting things about the class. So all of them are great, and I enjoy teaching all of them.
What are your hobbies and interests outside of engineering? And how do you think that those hobbies help you when it comes to your work in engineering?
Well, I think one of the reasons why I'm teaching that senior design class on electric vehicles is I have a general interest in cars. That's one of the things that kind of I think springboarded me into engineering was just a general interest in cars and how they work and fixing them. And I've kind of kept that as a fun hobby that's related to things technical. So I believe that hobby, right? That's I kind of also since I mentioned that to students a lot of the students who are into cars, who are mechanical engineers and aerospace engineers, they then end up talking to me, and then they enter into my senior design class. So I think that hobby, has kind of helped me well. But in general, other hobbies, I have 2 small children, 2 girls, so they kind of consume a lot of my hobby time, which is still a lot of fun.
Coffee or tea or any other beverage?
Both. Coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon. Typically.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of tea?
Just simple, breakfast, English breakfast, some, green teas, a lot of stuff.
Oh, green tea.
Yeah.
I know that one. Cool. Coffee, do you like with sugar or cream? Or just black
a little
coffee?
bit of sugar, a little bit of creamer.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, a lot of our PhD people, I guess they just lose the will to keep going and they drink black coffee, strictly black coffee.
It kind of, yeah, I feel like that's where it kind of heads towards. As you keep drinking it, it gets stronger and stronger and darker. So.
So are you in the midst of getting?
It's gotten a little bit darker.
Oh wow.
It's darker and less sugar and less.
So you're training yourself basically. You're.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess you try to limit your volume and then you end up making it more potent. So.
If you were to rank the engineering disciplines, let me finish. If you were to rank the engineering disciplines on a totem pole, on a chart, on a pyramid, etc., who's on top? Who's on the bottom?
Like I said, they're all they're so different, right? They're all that goes down completely to what you're interested in. So, you know, I of course, I find myself more interested in topics of mechanical and aerospace engineering. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
I would put that at the top, but that's just a personal preference, of course. But like, it's it all goes back to preference, what you want,
Sure. Yeah.
what you're interested in.
Okay. Excellent. Let's see. So, with your electric vehicle senior design, how do you go about getting into that?
Um, there's it's a really complex problem, a really complex vehicle. So there's a lot of things to work on. Typically, it's seniors that are working on it when you get assigned to the class. Each section of senior design has a different topic, right? So my class has that as our topic.
Mhm.
So um, if you want to do for senior design, you have to be in that class. But before that, there's like I said, there's a lot of small projects that you could work on, and if you're really interested in it, there's potential for underclassmen to help out with some of the smaller topics and get ramped up on the project because there's a lot of background information and skills that would help you be more successful in senior design if you participate earlier on. So contacting me and showing interest, that's all you got to do.
What advice do you have for students coming in, either as freshmen or maybe they have been undeclared in their major in engineering and they're trying to find the discipline that is right for them?
Uh, Whatever the topics that you know that you seem more interested in, right, and that you kind of enjoy going to the class or enjoy spending time on those topics. Like I said, if you're going to be spending a lot of time in these classes studying and doing work, so you have to make sure that you enjoy the topics. So that's the number one thing, right? Whatever topic that you are most
Hmm.
interested in, I believe that's what you should go towards.
Like, have you worked in the industry? Have you just been doing research? Have you what do you do?
Well, my research is I do research outside the classroom, and my research, like I said, is dealing with um, mechanics of materials, so how do
Hmm.
materials behave.
Hmm.
But I really focus more on materials that are used in like the electronics industry and the semiconductor industry. So even though you might think a lot of those industries are really something for electrical engineers or computer engineers,
Hmm.
right? They still have physical products and physical things that deal with that have materials, and those materials can mechanically fail. They can crack, they can break. So I do a lot of characterization with those materials used in electronics industry, and also, they're smaller scale, so not large things, but we're talking about things on the micron scale and the nano scale. So dealing with small materials used in cross-disciplinary applications.
So you've taught a lot, and you've had a lot of students. What would you say is a really important quality that your students need to have in order to succeed in your classes?
Well, one thing in general, I always, I tell the underclassmen, I think that help, that I think is a really good, helpful thing to do, is have a core group of friends that are in your classes. So, so when you go to class, it's people that and then people you can ask questions to, and you can help each other out with homework. You can try to teach each other, and you can help fill in the gaps with each other with what happens in the class.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that also, you'll be more successful, and I think you'll have a more enjoyable time if you're, in class with friends or people that you know. So I think that's, I definitely had my group of friends when I was an undergrad who we, did homework together and we studied together, and we try to reinforce, topics that we thought were important. And I think that's really helpful. So you're not just trying to do everything by yourself, right? And you realize that everyone else is working hard as well. So I think it's really important, for underclassmen to be successful.
So there's always been this sort of almost rivalry between the humanities and the STEM majors, right? Um, but the humanities courses can be very helpful for an engineer. What are your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, I think humanities. There's a lot of things that engineers can benefit from those courses and from taking those classes. Uh, you know, you don't necessarily realize, but you're focusing on the technical aspect now, but later on you're gonna have to do a lot of writing and communication in general is extremely important. And now everything's done. You're doing so many electronic communications with people. So just practicing writing, practicing communicating with people, practicing how do you get your point across, and it's really important to have those opportunities. So those classes, I know, our technical classes can be really difficult, and I think you should look at those classes that you take for your general electives as a really good opportunity to fine tune those skills so that you're more successful in the future when you have to when you're trying to write proposals or you're trying to write reports, which you'll spend a lot of time doing, not just doing the technical aspect of it. How do you then communicate the results of those those technical experiments and those studies that you've done? Because it's all about communicating what you've discovered and what you've learned to other people.
Was the transition for you from, undergraduate or any sort of level of post-secondary education, was it hard to transition into your I'm an adult now phase? Your era?
Well, I went from undergrad to grad school, and then I did postdoc, so I kind of stayed in that for a long time, and now I'm doing this. So I guess my transition was probably less abrupt than other people. But going on a point that you said, I think you have to learn that you're no longer having necessarily like defined assignments, right? Where someone's telling you need to hand this in on this date, and these are all the things that you need to do. And I kind of say this in my senior design class too. You now have to practice essentially, thinking about the problem that's in front of you, and then trying to write the problem yourself and what do you need to figure out to get to where you are. So that's one of the things we do practice in senior design now, is like starting with an open-ended problem. How do you shape it? How do you define it so that you then can move forward to get a final product? So hopefully, those exercises make that transition to real world a little better.
Would you encourage
I always
post-grad?
think, yeah, if you're interested in the topics for that you're learning in undergrad, then definitely looking at grad school is a great opportunity. There's a lot of different ways you can do grad school. You can either do it while you're working, or you can do it just focusing on grad school and doing research. So there's options for thesis and non-thesis, full-time, part-time. So there's a lot of different ways to pursue your master's degree or PhD. So if you're interested, I'd definitely talk to faculty about it, and faculty who you might be interested in doing research with, or whose topics, whose classes you took. Talk to those professors and see what opportunities are available, and just get general guidance for them on how to pursue that at any institution.
Well, this has been fun. Thank you so much for your time. Will we see you at any of the e-week events next week or the engineering showcase?
Yeah, it was great talking to you, and I'll be at the engineering showcase. I'll be there with my senior design class with electric vehicle. We'll have 2 posters there, and a lot of students eager to talk to the audience and different companies that are attending. And
Yeah.
also,
I think there's 41 that are coming.
yeah, and we have a sponsor who's coming that we're excited to show some progress to.
Nice.
And have the students engage with them. And I also have a student who's going to have a poster based on some of the research he's been doing as undergrad. So very
Excellent.
excited.
Amazing. All right. See you next week. That was like breakfast? What do you mean?
Yeah, English breakfast.
Oh, it's literally called English
Yeah.
breakfast.
Or Earl Grey.
Irish breakfast. What does it taste like?
It's kind of like a generic tea.
It's just generic. Okay, cool.